So, something really weird just happened to me. It's funny because I was thinking about my dad, and I was sitting down to eat some food, and I turned on Long Island Medium. And the episode is actually about a girl who is getting married, and her father passed away whenever she was 14. And her fiance set up the whole ordeal, whatever. But it's just listening to her story is kind of like my story. It's like it happened so suddenly that you didn't have time to say goodbye to someone that you love. I hate that my dad's death is kind of like a looming cloud over me. And I want to think that episode was kind of like my dad's validation for me to say, you're doing good. You're where you're supposed to be. I'm still watching over you. I'm still watching over the kids. It's just, I wish I knew how to deal with my dad's death. I wish I knew or could say hi to him. I don't think anybody knows really how to handle death when something happens. But when you finally start becoming close to somebody and then they're ripped away from you, or you feel like they're ripped away from you, it's hard to deal with that. And kind of like my story on the day of my dad's death is I was at work and got a phone call from my mom, which my parents have been divorced since I was 2. I got a call from my mom, and she's like, there's been an accident at your dad's job, and I just wanted to let you know in case they fly him to you, or fly whoever to you. And she hung up the phone. I said, okay. So I'm like being prepared, and meanwhile I'm x-raying a patient. And then my mom calls back while I'm with the patient. They get me, and mom calls or tells me that, there's the accident was my dad, and he's not here anymore. And people said that I screamed. I don't remember screaming. I remember they whisked me off into my boss's office. I just sat there and I cried. I called my stepmom, and she told me he's gone. I didn't get to see my dad's body. That was the one thing that was so frustrating about it all, is I went home that night, bought a Christmas tree of all things. That night, my mom and my stepdad came up and visited with us. I told her that I needed her. She came up there, and I bought a Christmas tree. And then the next few days, I had to travel up to Kirksville and get a hotel room. And we got to go to the funeral home the next day. Still didn't get to see my dad's body. And got to pick out his casket. A lot of frustrating things happened because my stepmom wanted him to have a certain color casket because it went well with a shirt that she wanted him to be buried in. And at the time, I was just like, and I still I don't get it, but whatever. My stepmom was more upset because I didn't bring Quentin. And I think that always hangs on me, is because everybody cared more about Quentin, my son. And nobody cared to ask me how I was doing. Nobody cared. It just, maybe that's selfish. I shouldn't think like that. But still, it hurts me today. Not gonna lie. And then the next day was the actual day of the visitation. And on the day of the visitation, I saw a lot of people. a lot. My stepmom refused to have the funeral, which my grandmother wanted. And my dad was from Clarence, and my stepmom just wanted to have it in La Plata. My dad wasn't from La Plata. He knew people. They lived there for a while. But he didn't, he's from Clarence. Clarence, he's a Shelby County graduate. He's, grew up, born and raised there. Grandma was still there. The house where the accident happened is in Clarence. All this stuff happened there. And the visitation went good. I wanted my mom to come. My mom didn't come. I told her I needed her. She still didn't come. My grandma came. And since then, I've latched on to grandma forever, but I held on to her. She knew I needed her. She brought me something. I don't remember what it was. But she brought me something. And and then the day of the funeral was like the coldest day ever. It was so cold and so snowy. And I remember my dad's girlfriend coming. Well, it was his girlfriend. It all happened so fast, but before my dad and them separated when I was in college, or divorced actually, and then my dad started dating somebody, and the time is all kind of meshed together, but I remember my dad went on a date with somebody and everything, and dated her for a while, and then they all of a sudden him and Mary were back together and getting married on their 25th wedding anniversary or something like that. And I'm just like, it was all just really weird, and it all happened so fast, and I didn't really get it. I still don't get it. But back to my dad's funeral. So Terry came to the funeral, and Mary refused to let her in. And I'm like, this man is dead. What does it matter now? I'm just like, why can't you put your differences aside to bury a man? Bury somebody. They're gone. And I just, So, a lot of things happened during my dad's death, and I realized it's all kind of weighing down on me, and it's affecting me, and I have so many unanswered questions, and I just wish I knew the answers to, or wish, and then my dad's watch was on him, and I said I want the watch. I have his watch, and he animated it into a nice, very, very nice thing. For a memory of him. And then when we took him out to the casket and everything, and they lower him into the ground. Well, he wasn't lowered in, but they say their little thing underneath the canopies or whatever. I just remember this warm, because it's like freezing ass cold. It's December 5th, 6th, whatever day we buried him, 7th, I don't remember. It's freezing cold, it's below 0 degrees cold. And you're sitting there, because you're in the front row, you're the family, and it's freezing. You're under a little canopy, but it ain't warm. And you're sitting there, and you just all of a sudden you feel this warmth, like a great big hug. Like someone comes up behind you and hugs you. Their body heat just heats you up. Just a lot of uneasy feelings, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. Some days I think it affects me to get close to people because I want to keep people at a distance, because that pain, you know, that pain when you feel when somebody's close and they can hurt you really bad. I feel like a lot of these emotions are coming up again because my grandma is really sick, and it scares me, and I know that it's inevitable. I know that. I mean, I know I could die the next, and you know, it doesn't, you know, anybody could die. I got that, but it's a scary feeling. And I don't want to be any more distant than what I already am. I'd like to heal from one distance before, if I go through that again. I have a lot of resentment towards people. A lot, not my mom. I have a lot because I needed her. And I don't ask for a lot from her. I never have. I don't feel like I have. I pretty much have, you know, gone up on my own. I don't ask my parents for money. I don't ask them for advice. I don't, you know, I never really had deep conversations with my mom that I remember. I remember having a lot with my dad, and I think that that's where a lot of the navigation of not talking, not getting out my feelings, not getting out what I'm trying to say, taught me a lot. And I think I was getting better and better, and it just dropped off, you know. I want him to know that he did a lot for me, and he was always there, no matter if he thought he wasn't there for me. But I know that I keep rambling on, and I'm sorry. So I'm gonna get off here and talk whatever I can again later.